So deeply personal stuff can come up in sessions sometimes, and I just want to make it very clear. I have this woman's permission to share about this session anonymously. Okay, she gave me permission to share about it anonymously. So I did a session for this woman's two cats, but they were separated. I did one session for the one cat, and then I had like 5 sessions, and then I did the session for the second cat. And I don't remember sessions after I do them, especially when I do like a bunch in between. So cat one, when I talked to cat one said, sometimes I feel unusual. If there is an energy shift, I pick up on it. I don't like fighting or yelling. I am very in tune to my humans and how they are feeling. I want everything to be calm and at peace. I said, is there more you want to share about that? They said, my home is happy, but there is yelling sometimes. Not at me, just in general. I don't like raised voices. It startles me. Then cat one said, my mom is very soft. Sometimes I think she should stand up for herself more and fight back. Not just accept things as they are, but work to change them. Get out of a bad relationship, a toxic situation. Just get out and free yourself of any limitations placed on you. Now, when I asked cat one how they felt about their dad, they said, he needs to stop beating people up. And I'm like, what do you mean by this? And they said, words can hurt people. Sticks and stones can break your bones, and words can and do hurt you. I think he likes to keep up with appearances. Sometimes he can snap if something is out of place. My dad is kind, giving, but he can be dramatic and narcissistic. Sometimes he is like an adult child. I said, is there anything that could help your dad? And cat one said, I think you should accept people for who and what they are and meet them where they're at. Be a bit more understanding and respectful. Mom does a really good job around here, and I wish he appreciated it more. When I asked cat one if they had any concerns, they said, dad's yelling. He yells too much. He needs to settle down more, be less concerned with things. He doesn't need to keep up appearances. He can just be himself. My dad is not a bad person. He could just be better. He could better himself, and I'd like to see him do that. So I had like 4 or 5 sessions after this. I talked to this cat. So then I was doing the session for the second cat, and I recognized the woman's name. So I'm like, okay, this is her other cat. But I was like, I don't remember anything that came up during the session. I felt like, okay, there was something with the husband, but I didn't remember like what. I'm like, there was something weird with the husband, but I didn't remember. So I connect with cat 2, and cat 2 says about the mom, no one should come into her energy field that would hurt her or take advantage of her. No way, and I mean it. She has to protect herself. And I said, protect herself from what? Cat 2 said, people that mean to do her harm. I said, who wants to do her harm? Cat 2 said, mean people, bad people. I don't know. I want her energy field to stay clear and calm. I want her to be safe, always. And I said, do you feel like she's unsafe? And cat 2 said, I don't know. I know she is safe, but I still worry. I'm like a worried mom about my daughter. So cat 2 later said, my mom saved me and I want to save her. And I said, but what do you feel like you need to save her from? Cat 2 said, any negative energy, any bad energy. I need to clean the space, air it out. Sage. I want her to be safe always. She needs to protect herself. I worry. And I said, but your mom can take care of herself. And cat 2 said, it is my job to take care of her. Can we move on to my dad now? I have a lot to say about him. And I'm like, okay, so tell me how you feel about your dad. Cat 2 said, narcissistic is a good word. He's narcissistic. He can be explosive. He can burst into flames. You know, things can set him off, even if not outwardly, inwardly. And I said, okay, what do I need to know about this? Cat 2 said, Dad can just be a man child, and he needs to do more around the house and help out Mom more. You know, she does a lot around here, and I don't think he appreciates it as much as he should. I don't think she gets the credit she deserves. And I said, do you love your dad? And cat 2 said, my dad is my dad and I love him, but there's things he needs to work on, just struggles he has to overcome, obstacles he has to face, childhood trauma he has to work through. He would be better for it, but he doesn't think he needs help, so there's that. It's why I worry for Mom. You know, I don't want him to hit her. And I was like, whoa, like, okay, like this is, okay, where, like, So I said, are you worried he would? Like, what is this turning into? And cat 2 said no, but he can get very mad at her. So I worry in a way where I just want her to be okay. Now, something that cat 2 said that I did not write down and that I did not say in the recording was Cat 2. When Cat 2 was talking about bad people hurting mom and needing to protect mom, Cat 2 said my mom was RAPED. And I was like, whoa, like this is like we're talking about like sexual assault, and now we're talking about like, is the dad gonna hit her? And I'm like, what have I stepped into right now? Now, I'm supposed to share everything, but I could not share that verbatim. I at the end of the recording, I said, look, your cat basically alluded to the fact that something happened to you sexually that you maybe didn't want to happen at some point in your life. So that was how I basically said it without saying it. Now, I got an email back from these cats' mom, and she said, about my husband, I understand you feel uncomfortable, and I'm very sorry they put that on you. He's not violent at all, but indeed he has some immature side and tantrums. He is very generous and kind on some things and very hard on others with bursts of anger. Rare, but it's still here. I have been in a phase since last April where I'm unsure I can be with him all my life because I want a softer life. I had a hard start to life, and even though he brought me so much kindness and luck and happiness, I do crave for more kindness. I never had a good example on what love is supposed to look like, so I am just scared he's the best I can get. I wish I could just talk to him, but I am scared of his reaction. Not because he can hit me, but his words have an impact on me. And the last thing she said was, last thing about the last intimate topic you shared. Yes, indeed, I got abused as a kid, not as bad as a lot of others, but it still happened. And she wanted to know what exactly the cat said. I sent a really long email back, believe me. But I said, your cat said this, and she never responded to that. And I didn't want to, that is very personal. Okay. She said, yes, something happened. Something did happen. Now, this was a few months ago that I did the session, and I had always wanted to share about it, but I wasn't sure. And so I emailed her and I said, hey, could I share about these sessions super anonymously, like super anonymously, only me and you would know who this is about? And so she said, yes, I could. But listen to what she said. As an update, she said, our session pushed me to confront my husband more on his attitude, and it really created a positive shift. Is that weird? I felt seen by my cats. And she said, like, the session had a really positive outcome. Like, she was able to confront her husband, and there was a positive shift that took place. So that made me so happy. And it's all because I talked to her cats, and her cats just laid it all out for me. So it's like, people will email me and they'll be like, oh, I want to get a session for my friend. I want to surprise her for her birthday. And it's like, okay, cool. Are you aware that her animal could bring up like deep-seated trauma from her childhood? Like, serious shit comes up, you guys. And it's very, very hard for me to share it, especially on a recording I'm sending. I'm not telling this person live. I'm just saying it on a recording and then sending it off and have no idea what the response is going to be. So couple things. So if you're new here, my pinned featured video answers all the questions. You can't just book a session. I have a waiting list. Watch my first pinned video. It explains so much stuff. All the questions that you will have answered, that you will have should be answered in that video. Super behind on responding to emails. I get a million of them. Super behind on getting sessions done for people that already booked them due to surgery, plus my new booking site having issues for October and November and getting a ton of overbookings. So if you booked a session, and you are waiting for it, it's still there. I promise. It's just, there is a delay. I am behind. I'm trying to catch up. I think that's everything I wanted to say. Watch my pinned featured video, and yeah, that's it.